Erin versus Annie, a fight, a spectacle that aired over a decade ago. Damn, it's really been over a decade? A fight that was the finale of season 1 of Attack on Titan. A fight that I myself have not seen since 2014. And it's probably been a while since you've seen it as well, which is why you clicked on this video. So that then leads me to the question, is Erin versus Annie round 2 worst, just as good, or even better than we remember? You know what? Fuck it. Let's actually watch round 1 as well. So let me rephrase that question. Is Erin versus Annie rounds 1 and 2 worst, just as good, or even better than we remember? Erin now sprinting towards Annie in a fit of rage. He goes in for the big uppercut, and Annie fucking weaves his shit and caves his stomach in. But operating off of anger, Erin ignores the pain, grabs Annie's legs, and swing and misses. Or maybe not, I'm pretty sure this doesn't actually hit, but she's reacting like it hit, so I guess the attack actually connected, even though I don't believe this attack right here actually connected. I mean, listen to the sound effect. Does this sound like it impacted? Exactly, I've proven my case. So she tumbles back, hitting clearly a redwood. She snaps back into it from the mental attack Erin performed earlier, because you cannot convince me this fist rocked her shit for her to react like this. Erin goes in for some more attacks, and oh my goodness, she is making him look absolutely goofy. He manages to actually clip her shoulder, and he then does a barrel roll to then Naruto run away. And we all know Erin ain't gonna let that happen. Erin is still swinging and getting his shit floated like a butterfly and stung by a bee. Annie proceeds to fall down. Erin then proceeds to mount on top of her and goes for a head-crushing punch, and he then goes for another head-splitting punch, and Erin then proceeds to screech at Annie while his hands regenerate, as Annie just lays there and just watches as a man starts losing himself to pure rage. And just like that, Annie instantly gets Erin off of her and kicks him into a tree. But Erin's working off of anger, so he's back on her ass in an instant. And Jesus Christ, who is she? UI Goku? She's dodging everything. Good God. Erin goes for another punch. It gets weak. Annie rolls on the ground to avoid it. And Erin's back on her instantly. She then falls down from the shock of, I don't think she realized just the type of anger she was going to be dealing with. And another punch dodge. Then we get a barrage of swings and and Erin goes for a big haymaker then. Good fucking God, knocked his fucking jaw off. But remember, we are dealing with a man operating off of what? That's right, anger. As after getting his jaw knocked off, he hits her right in the kidneys and sends her flying. And then guess what? He's right back on her. Hey, it's me, and I've been editing this. And I didn't originally cover this, but this fucking scene has been finding me while editing it, because Annie looks like, oh dog, they don't pay me enough for this. Like this right here, somebody was like, bro, what the fuck is this? Knocked his jaw off and was like, okay, that's a wrap on this, right? Nope. I think this entire sequence is the reason she was like, yeah, nah, just decapitate him. I'm over it. I'm over it. Put the head back, leaned up in the seat, and was like, I'm over this. I'm over this. I was like, yeah, let's try to nah, fuck that. Nope, he gotta get out. It's just been finding me. Like, look at this. She's so over it. She's like, I'm over it. I'm so over it. Oh, I just thought this was funny. Anyway. Back to the video. Unfortunately, he tries to hit a fly with a sledgehammer, because guess what? She dodges again. And wait, he's actually tired? Wow, that's shocking. But you know what's even more shocking is the pose Annie gets in off screen that reveals that it's Annie to Erin, as she then proceeds to fucking decapitate him cleanly. As Annie then goes to Erin's body and rips him out, and that concludes round 1. Now it's time for round 2. Erin sprints at Annie cause it's payback time, biatch, as he lays Annie the capital O out. You know, Erin's graduated to pure rage at this point. So Annie, after getting hit with a punch filled with pure hatred, staggerly gets up, looks at a man sprinting at her with nothing but pure burning hatred in his soul, stands up, and takes the fuck off. Erin then of course chases after her, now looking like a Scooby-Doo skit as they run through the city, devaluing all the homes in the area, making the HOA and insurance companies pissed. Annie jumps, turns around, grabbing a building to slow her down, because it's now time to put foots in the ass of Erin like she did against them last time. Annie assumes the position, Erin assumes the position, and after a quick flashback, it's go time. As Erin goes to strike, this time, it doesn't get weaved, it just gets blocked. Annie goes for the counter kick, Erin blocks it, then grabs her leg like an older brother, and yucks her into more property damage. As Erin then performs a Kool-Aid Man jump scare, but Annie, back to her usual shenanigans, just dodges it. And if you listen closely, you can hear someone in the distance yell, "Oh, come on, I just paid off the mortgage on that place." So after some dialogue tree jump scares and property devaluations only the MCU can't compete with, Annie and Erin are stanced up again, and Erin charges in again. Annie crystallizes her leg and proceeds to... But foolish Annie, have you not learned yet? It's going to take much more than that to stop hatred. Good God, hit her so hard memory started popping back up in her head. Erin then lunges at her for her to deliver a swift kick to the dome, or so she thought. But remember, Erin is operating off of hatred here and rage. Annie then plays whack-a-mole on Erin's noggin, and when I say whack, I mean she is whacking. Once Erin's face looks like Hercules, it's time for her to make her great escape. But once again, she has not realized, like I said, she is fighting someone operating off of pure, unrelenting rage and hatred. Matter of fact, it's promoted to seething disdain. Annie tries to protect her neck, so Erin then just proceeds to crush her face. For her to unleash that banshee scream, Annie connects an elbow, Erin swings back, Annie does the usual and kicks Erin away. She crystallizes her fingers and makes a break for the wall, as it's now code red to get the fuck away from Erin. But seething disdain is one hell of a motivating factor, as Annie is finding this out firsthand. Annie sacrifices one of her legs as she is desperately trying to get away at this point. When then Mikasa comes and does her thing.
It's over, Annie. Now fall.
Annie's body hits the floor. Erin then pounces on Annie, proceeding to punch Annie so hard that her head and arm explode off of her body, and his one good arm explodes as well. Erin then rips the back of the nape off to reveal Annie. Annie then starts crystallizing, absorbing Erin as well, for Levi to come and snatch Erin out of the absorption, as all that remain is Erin's Titan skeleton and Annie in her crystal cocoon. And that's how the fight concludes. Wow, what a fight, I tell you. It's been quite a while since I've seen this one, and man, I have to say, it's even better than I remember, because I remember it being good. But like, nah, this is pretty damn great if I have to say so myself. Okay, so let's talk about the first fight. So the first fight is pretty good. The only issue is during the first fight, there was a few confusing parts where once again, he did not connect his fist. I'm adamant about that. And during the fight where Annie falls over a few times. And the reason it's confusing is because it's not made clear until the end of the fight that she was just trying to stall for time to recover from her injuries, or regenerate from her injuries so that she can then of course fight Erin. That's pretty much the only confusing part about it, where it's kind of like, why is she falling over, yada this, yada yada that, but that's pretty much it. The other thing, this applies for both fights, is that we don't hear Annie's thoughts. Like in the first fight, that makes sense, even though they could have just heavily altered her voice. But for the second one, I personally think it would have added even more emotions to it. Like, we hear her in her Titan form, desperately trying to get away with the heavy breathing, and we do get the vague flashbacks during the fight that kind of speak for her. Now, I'm not saying they needed to have her think in a complex level to where it sounds like she's trying to get her PhD, but just like simple sentences or simple phrases, like here, if we hear her in her head saying, "Why won't you stay down?" Or during this scene, we hear her scream, "Let go." Or during this one, we hear her yelling, "I have to get out, I need to get out, I must get out." You know, but these are just nitpicky things that I think would have added even that bit more emotion into her actions if we not only see her desperation, but also hear it from her and not just in her Titan form when she screams. But other than that, the fight's pretty great. And the second fight only suffers from the same stuff like Transformers, the Monsterverse, and etc. suffer from, which is when I watch giant robots, titans, or monsters fight, I would just like them to fight uninterrupted, at least for like 5 minutes. Which the first fight did, but during the second one not so much, but they couldn't because it was the finale and plot stuff. I know that. It's just what I would like to see from my spectacles, which is what watching two giant beings fight each other is. But other than those two things, these fights are great. The emotions that I felt watching these fights is great. The emotions that both Erin and Annie expressed during these fights, more so Erin in the first fight than Annie, but during the second fight, my God, pal. The emotions you can feel resonating off these two during the second fight is impeccable. During both fights, the sound of the attacks landing and the impact they all had when they landed is truly remarkable. The duration is good. The atmosphere is tense while also being exciting at the same time. The animation is wonderful. There's no jank or change in animation style. The choreography is great. The fights in general are just great. Now, before rewatching this, I probably would have said, yeah, these fights were good, because honestly, I forgot most of the things that happened in these fights, because, shocker, much more memorable things happen in Attack on Titan later down the line that may have caused me to forget that these two fights ever happened. But like I said, I remember them being good, but yeah, no, they're great. So yeah, Erin versus Annie is much better than I remember.